All right.
What's going on?
We're in. Hey, just another day in paradise.
Good old Albuquerque, man.
Good old Albuquerque. It's warming up here. Are you getting warm finally?
Sort of. So over the weekend, Saturday was really nice. Had like 70, 75 degrees. And then Sunday we had snow. So,
So it's still being indecisive.
yeah, pretty much.
That's fair.
But the wind, I don't know if you guys are getting wind down there, but the wind up here in Iowa has just been terrible. I mean, for like weeks straight.
We're getting some, but nothing, I feel like, out of the ordinary than like a normal spring Albuquerque wind.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess let's roll into it then. So
yeah, let's do it.
Today we're going to talk about my setup for putting in the task sheet into Aussie. We're going to go over flight number 2 from 2022 Nationals. For pretty straightforward task sheet, a few JDGs and a fly on. Just go through, how I do that. Cool. So I guess just jumping into it. So this is a little bit different of a setup than I would normally have, because normally I'd have the task sheet itself up on like my phone or on my tablet, and then I could have the whole screen dedicated to Aussie. But since we're sharing the screen, it's a little bit different.
Just a little cramped.
Yeah, just a little cramped. Nothing, no big deal. So first of all, I will usually just go through the task sheet just to see, like, all right, what am I putting in? Am I going to have to do any like weird shapes, polygons, do any lines, things like that. So right off the bat, it's like, all right, I know I'm putting for sure 3 markers on there. And then for the fly on, my declaration point has to be on or south of northern grid line 3800. And then the goal has to be between northern grid lines 4000 and 4200. So that gives me an idea of that. I'll have to draw some lines on there. And typically I don't put my fly-ons until after I've put on the JDGs or like the sort of the hard targets, just because it gives me an idea of where everything else is laid out and how I want to sort of plan around that.
Yeah, that's what I do too. Is I just put all the hard targets in and kind of figure out the rest.
Yeah. So go over to Aussie target, open up the waypoint tools, make up a new one, and I will usually label mine with something like this. So task 6, JDG, and then even if they give us a goal number or something like that, if I still have the 4x4, I will typically not try to like find the goal and just change that. I'll just make a new marker because it's easier.
Makes sense.
So we got 1178, 3298. And then I can do 50 meters for the MMA. And then I like to make whatever the color of the baggie is for the background of the marker label. And then we'll go ahead and make that. And then I have my actual marker label is like bigger than any of my other waypoints that already exist. So like these are all the imported ones from the competition itself. But the more important ones to me are for, the actual tasks that we're flying that day. So that's task 1. And then now that gives me an idea of like, all right, we're flying that kind of a line, at least from the CLA, or in this case, we had a CLA. Sometimes, if we have an ILP, then I can immediately start like, all right, what red zones do I have to avoid, or what potential meeting spots can we set up, or things like that.
Yeah.
So then task 7.
And this was flight 2 of U.S. Nationals
Yes, from
last year.
Yeah, 2022.
Gotcha.
So then same thing with this JDG. Put in the 4x4, so 1345, 3580, and then we have teal, which I'll try to just get close. Make waypoint, and so that was the whatever the salmons or what's that store over there?
Oh, Menards.
Oh, Menards. Yeah, that's it.
I think it's a Midwest store.
Then we got task 9, 1057, and 4368. Oh, I made the MMA wrong on that other one, I think. Oh, no, that was right.
Was this the morning where they changed the target task 6, right? They originally had it like at the golf course, I think. And then they changed it at the field.
Was that this day?
I think it was.
That might have been this day because I think originally the line had us going like over here first. Or I think they just had the one target here and then we were supposed to go to these ones, right?
Yeah, because it was basically that little space between like the red zone and the orange.
Yep.
Is where that golf course was or is. And then they originally were going to have us there, but then they changed it pre-launch.
Yeah, to this one over here.
They updated the sheet and moved it over there, which was a good call because I don't think
there was no way we were getting there that day.
Yeah, not with the common launch.
Yeah,
and with the red zone, probably not even. It'd be tough to fly over that red zone to swoop in too.
To come from the southwest, that would have been because I don't even think there's not really. I don't remember there being much to even launch from out here, and then to fly over that would have been also a pain.
Yeah. So yeah, good call on that.
Yeah. All right, so then that's task 9. So now with that gives me an idea of like where we're going. I'd probably come in here and I don't remember what the winds were doing, but I would then come in and actually not yet. I wouldn't put in my wind lines yet because I forgot to do my my lines. So I like to put lines on the map. Then it gives me it gives me a reminder sort of to where my declaration points are and where I can actually call out the fly on itself. So my declaration point has to be northern line on 3800, and I make my lines pretty thick, like them thick. And so I'll add that. And so now I know I need to have something declared before I get past that point. And then I can add this one for the 4000, add that.
Do you change the color on those lines to like represent anything?
No, because it's just I just make it black because that usually stands out more. I found against like all the maps. So like, but the maps are typically pretty colorful, but a stark black line sticks out. So there's usually not too much other things that are going on. So I know it's related to usually like a fly on or something along those lines.
Yeah. If you start flying with the satellite map, that might change.
That's a good point. Yes. Which I should do. All right. So now I got my lines, and then I'd probably go in and do some wind reader and start plotting that out just to get an idea of like what sort of potential. That was not what the winds were doing that morning. These are from something else. I don't remember what I have them in there from, but if I remember, our wind line was probably more along the lines of like I think we were going maybe like 30 and 80-ish.
I used to put wind lines on every flight, but I want to say the last year or so I've been almost leaving them out.
Really?
Yeah.
No,
And
that's not quite right.
I think it probably just started by like not being in the habit, like coming out of a season, and then just not being in the habit of putting wind lines in. So I kind of just rolled with not doing it for a while.
Yeah.
But I also use a different target or a different, I guess, like program for pre-launch stuff, and I kind of consider wind lines pre-launch. So
that's fair.
that's
But
probably why I move it.
once I'm in the air, then I'm usually using like I might use the heading and stuff like that, but I'm not usually putting in wind lines too often. I will occasionally, but then at that point, I'm probably going to use my flight winds more often, and just like select the ones that I want out of that. Or if like the crew's giving me something specific, then I'll come in and put in that heading and then draw it for whatever coming into that target. And I know, all right, winds on the ground were a 15. I think actually that day it was like the winds for that particular one were actually like a 340 or something like that, I want to say. No, that doesn't look right either, because we were going more left, I think, coming into that one. But anyways, that either way, that sort of shows how I use that part. So looking at this, like I think typically for a fly on, I'll make a general determination about which one I want to go for, just because I like to have something declared before launching, because that way if I forget to do it, I at least have something. But ideally I've called the right thing and I can just fly to it. I think this day I ended up changing it. Like I think I ended up switching back and forth between 216 and 217 a number of times, and then I think I finally committed to I think 216 before I went across the JDG. Actually, I don't even think I committed to either one until I left the JDG for task 7. I think I finally, because I remember a lot of people ended up going right over here, and I think they went for like 221 or 222. But I wasn't super keen on that because I wanted to get more left to get closer to the JDG that day, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that pretty much covers everything.
I went more left on that day as well.
Yeah. You and I were flying pretty close that day, I think, because I remember you passed by the task 7 not too long after I did.
Yep.
Yeah, and then I so for stuff like for the electronic test, like the fly on, I will also definitely use it like the transit point. So once you can I will turn on the navigation to that target, which is not going to work because I'm not. Where's the simulator? I could probably turn on. Where's the simulator? I always forget where it is.
Yours might be on the right side.
I might not have it on, but I like to use the transit point, just because then, like, if I am gonna miss it slightly, it's nice to get an idea of, like, all right, this is my likely closest point, and then I can hit the button for that. Like, that was really useful. What was it? The day after this, day 3, I think, where like we had trouble hitting any of the targets, and so it was really just, all right, how can I make this line get me as close as possible? So then, figure that out.
Yeah, for sure. I haven't ever used that tool in flight. I think does it update automatically, or like once you hit the button, or do you have to re-hit the button to update it?
I think you have to re-hit the button, which is honestly kind of annoying, but I think that's intentional. Also, if I remember from the video that Sean did, where it's like updating it all the time would probably make it less useful, because then, like, if you're trying to hit a specific line anyways, then it's like that's the point you're looking at, and so you don't want it to necessarily just be flipping back and forth all the time.
I suppose, yeah.
But I will sit there and, like, not constantly, but like pretty routinely, like, hit the button to redraw the transit point, where if I've like shifted back over to something that might put me closer.
Yeah. I guess I fly. I mean, most of my competitions are not logger scored, so it's pretty much if you get a baggie in the field, awesome, you're going to get a score. Otherwise, it doesn't even matter. So that tool isn't very beneficial. And if I'm going to use it for dropping a baggie, I'm probably better off just using my eyesight anyways. So,
yeah, for sure. I mean, for like, do you use the drop feature at all, like, for dropping bags from high up if necessary?
No, I don't. I would like to at some point. For the longest time, I didn't even have it on my little side sheet there.
Yeah.
But I don't have the little sight glass to even tell me the degrees.
I bought one with the intent to use it, and I've tried to use it like a handful of times now. And every time I go to use it, like, by the time I've figured out like what orientation and how to get like looking through the sight glass, I can't remember the name of them, the inclinometer. By the time I figure out like where I'm supposed to be looking, I'm like, fuck, I'm like already past where I'm supposed to be looking, I think. So I just throw and hope for the best.
And then you watch it pass the target, and you're like, just land already, just land.
Yes. And like any second now, it's gonna stop. It's still going. Damn it.
Did you ever see the I want to say it's an Aussie Target video of them demonstrating how to use it and like how accurate it is?
Yeah, I think that was where, because I wasn't sure how to use it initially, and then I watched that video and it finally started to make sense. But it's pretty, I mean, it's closer than I'm ever going to get it with flying or dropping from that high.
Yeah,
I mean, I need to just make a practice flight one day of just going out and just doing that for fun.
Yeah, because I think in one of the shots he hits like a road or something. I mean, and he wasn't 2,000 feet up, but I mean he was probably 500. Which if you're ever in Indianola and going to Harrison Street, like, how hard that road is. So
that's it. If that's the difference of a score versus no score, I'm going to take the score every day. So
yeah, exactly. Like Harrison Street, that can be an easy 300-point difference of the last guy to score versus the big pool of no results. So
yeah, Cool. Well, I think that's all I got for this one. If anyone watching has questions or about anything that I showed off, or curious about how we do something else, ask in the comments and we'll jump in and answer.
Yep. And we can post this PDF task sheet in the comments as well.
Yeah, for sure. We'll put up a link in the comments so that it makes sense.
Yep.
Cool.
So,
well, then I guess until next time.
Yeah. Let me cue up the ending.
All right.
Quick.
Baggies out.
All right, man. We'll see you later.
Bye.